The following podcast is brought to you exclusively by the Rad Rob Radio Network.
On this edition of Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr., we welcome the Bohn Legacy, the entire Bohn bowling family, minus Sydney, who is traveling with her team. But we will have Parker, Leslie, Brandon, and Justin here to talk about the Bohn Legacy. How it is growing up with a Hall of Fame pro dad, their own successes in their own right in the sport of bowling. Lots to talk about here. We can't wait. We absolutely love this family. Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. starts now.
This is PBA champion Kyle Troop.
Hey y'all, Jacob Ledrup here.
Jeff Riggles here from 11thframe.com.
Hey guys, Chuck Ritchie here, formerly of Bowl TV.
Hey guys, this is Ryan Schaefer of track staff at Valley Bowling Center in Waverly, New York.
And you're listening to Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr.
Yo, the boys from Straight Up 5, Rad Rob, Dr Ocho, and of course JP Jr.
As you know, JP Jr. used to be introduced as the sexiest man in bowling, and now the world. But he doesn't have the best hair in the world. I do. Sorry, bud, but you know the deal. Pick it out. Fear the fro, baby.
Welcome to Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. A hard-hitting, in-depth, cutting-edge look into the world of bowling. This podcast will not only cover all things bowling, but will also give you a raw look into real-life issues. You'll get unfettered access into the mind of one of the most gifted bowlers of this or any other generation.
Strike, and they claim it. Similarly does it.
So without further ado, let's introduce you to the hosts of the show. Rad Rob, Rob Francois. Rad Rob, Rob Francois. Dr Ocho. Dr Ocho. And the incomparable Johnny Petraglia Jr. Johnny Petraglia Jr.
Hey guys, welcome back to Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. I am your happy host, Rad Rob, Rob Francois. We have a packed, stacked lineup for this show. The most concurrent guests we've ever had in any one session. But before we get into that, let's see who's here in the chat. I saw Ricky Smith is here with the beer. Good evening, sir. This is going to be a fantastic show. This will probably go down the history as being our very best. Alex Bermudez, buenas noches, my friend, all the way from Modesto, California. Hope y'all are safe over there, because I have no idea where you are in California, but hopefully you're nowhere near what's going on there. But Chuck Ritchie, who complains about not being on the show, yet he's been in every open since we started. Billy M, what's going on, brother? Pete Cow is in the house. Nico, our resident statistician. Have I had any Popeyes? Not recently, actually. Crambone, what's going on, David? Appreciate it. The answer is no, then how can you be happy? Because I'm loving life, because we have an amazing cast here tonight. I can't wait to get started. Staying Man, what's going on? All right. Troy Lint, U.S. champs in the house. What's going on, brother? I see you're hanging and banging in the gym every day, brother. Hope you get back on the lanes very, very soon. We love you, Troy. Alex is in the middle of California, 6 hours away from all the fires. Well, God bless you. Hopefully it doesn't get that far. But you never know. If you do, come on over to my house. I got plenty of room. All right, let's bring in my first co-host. He is the man with the golden mask. He is the resident doctor of Straight Up 5. He's also the resident house hack from Howell Lanes in New Jersey. The one and only Dr. Tiberius Ocho Jr. the third. What's going on, Och?
Rob has plenty of room in his house because his neck took up 2 rooms, and now that he doesn't have it anymore, there is plenty of room. Rob, have they found your neck yet?
Not, sir. No, sir. They have not found my neck since you found it and then threw it away.
I had to throw it away because I got upset. And I wonder, would your voice change if they found your neck? Would you be like, hey guys, Rad Rob Francois here, and happy birthday, Nicole, and we're going to have a great show.
Happy birthday, Nicole.
Let's get it going. Let's get it going. I ain't got time for this.
Wish Ocho a happy birthday today.
What's that, Och?
Boing!
Anyways, it's good to see you, Och. Not really, but I mean, I've never seen you actually, but with the whole mask deal.
Ageless and timeless, and bring in the marquee man.
Nico says the intro for the Bohn family could be 2 days long. It's true. We have a time crunch, so it's only a few minutes. PD's in the house. What's going on, Patrick? Hope you have plenty of tropicals and thunders and all those drilled up. So,
yeah, let's not get the show going. That's good. That's smart. Makes sense.
Let's bring in the man of the hour. Too sweet to be sour, the Tower of Power, the sexiest man in the world. Number 7 in your program, number 1 in your hearts, Mr. Johnny Petraglia Jr. What's going on, JP?
Always a pleasure, boys. Absolute honor to be here with y'all, and definitely looking forward to the all-star cast we have set for tonight.
Yes, sir. I am as well. You look like you need to see Georgie, brother. You're getting a little sick.
Oh yeah, it's pretty obnoxious at this point. I figured I'd get him through the holidays, let him do his thing, and then I just got really, really lazy since January 1. So I've just been rocking a lot of hats, and quite honestly, with it being 20 or 30 degrees, I don't mind the extra hair, at least on the back of my head. But for now, we'll just let it. At least I know it still grows at 40.
You look like John Cena, but he's got a bald spot, which you don't have yet. But
I'm okay with that comparison, so thank you.
Ooh, he looks like John Cena. How much are we gonna blow smoke up this guy's arse? Are you shitting me? He's a good looking guy.
Maybe you just can't see me.
Check out Georgie Shore for a badass haircut at sweetblends.com. Former guest of ours. We love Georgie. All right, let's play my cute little video package I put together. Completely stole all the footage from the Bohn Legacy YouTube channel, but
you
I'm
said
sure
package.
They won't mind. I did. Chuck says, "Got to go." Biden saying farewell. Just kidding. Get the fuck. Okay. All right. Anyway, all right. Here is a little highlight package from the Bohn Legacy.
Gotta pour the regular coffee into the coffee pot. You know, the mother-in-law's here this weekend, so I gotta make decaf for her. Hate decaf. I think I'll quit drinking it before I have decaf. Although I shouldn't say that. Maybe as I get older in life, I won't have a choice.
I cook in the house, he does the dishes.
You missed that.
If he cooks, it might... Do you know how to make eggs?
Yeah, I know how to make eggs.
Just making sure. He'll make steak.
Look,
That's about it.
Let's be honest here. I eat out 40 plus weeks a year. The last thing I feel like doing is coming home to cook myself eggs.
No, but
a bowl of cereal is really fantastic.
You want to do my dishes though, right?
Oh, don't worry, I already took care of that this morning. Of course, you slept in.
I think what's been fun through the years is that knowing how impactful junior bowling was to me and how it shaped me into the person that I am. Through youth bowling, through MJMAs in Michigan, JTBOs in Ohio, bowling tournaments in Illinois, Wisconsin, on to college. Just wanted to get back to a sport that's given us so much.
I like to call Mom Super Mom, right? It's a mixture of everything. Not a lot of people know that my mom was a national championship winner on her 21st birthday for Wichita State. And when we won this past year, I finally was able to tell her that we have something in common.
I don't see myself as a super mom. I think I do what I feel I'm supposed to do. And when I look at Brandon, I know he realizes it. He knows that, you can just hear it in his voice that he just knows it's just a little bit more special.
Me with my nice bowling ball. We're recapping today's bowling. Oh, and my pen. Anyways, so we're with Justin Bohn because he hasn't been in any recap.
I'm not.
But you didn't even watch me bowl today, so
I did not.
don't know why you're in my recap.
No, my girlfriend made Team USA. She's sitting over here.
So yeah.
So I was watching her.
We're celebrating Miranda today.
Yep.
One of the higher blocks that I think it was my second highest block. Was it my third highest block?
I don't know.
I don't know.
It was one of your better days of team trials.
If we take out day 3, I just want
day
to
3 the
day
bad?
3.
Was day 3 the bad day?
Yeah, day 3 was a really bad day.
That was the day you finished like 80th, right?
I beat 10 people.
That's a bad day for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Great friendship that got so close to Parker and him and his family. It's just like, it's not really a friend, it's more than a friend. Just a, just wonderful person.
All right, ladies first, let's bring in Mama Bohn, the one and only Leslie Bohn. Good evening, man. Thanks for joining us. Good to see you.
Hi, thank you.
Great to have you on. Absolute pleasure having you here.
Thank you.
Heck yeah.
Way to go, Rob. Way to take it. Way to segue. Good job, buddy.
Take the
a lot of dead air, pal. That's our host for you.
I was just letting Johnny do his thing. All right. We were also joined by Papa Bohn and Brandon Bohn. Good evening, PB3. Brandon, what's going on? Good to see you guys.
How we doing?
Hello, everyone.
We're
You
doing
guys are in
well.
Finland. Isn't it like 3 a.m. right now?
Yeah, well, to be exact, it's 3:11 a.m.
So we're late. That's about what time Ocho's DMs start buzzing with ladies. You know what I mean? So luckily, it's still Eastern time here.
And last but not least, the man that put all of that video together, the one and only, the very talented Justin Bohn. Good evening, Justin. What's going on, brother?
Hey, everybody. How's it going?
We are doing well.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for being here. I know everybody here is excited in the chat to hear from you guys. Hopefully, this won't be a cluster and we can all get all of our stuff in. But, Johnny, I'm going to lead out with you. I don't know if you have any kind of a game plan, but it's your show.
I mean, this is a panel of 4 amazing people, bowlers, athletes, and I have a ton of questions for each. I understand a little bit of a time crunch today, but the first person I want to talk to is the one whose college career especially I know the least about, and that's Leslie. I did know, obviously, about Wichita State, but Les, what got you started in this great sport that's now become, your livelihood?
Yes, thank you so much for having us, you guys. This is going to be fun. So my career started, I was about 8 years old, and my dad was the manager of the local bowling center in Sturgis, Michigan. And my mom, ironically enough, ran our junior program. Kind of how the wheels go forward, kind of crazy, but nonetheless, I do remember really early on, my mom and dad were big bowlers, and they took us to the Kessler Open in Battle Creek, Michigan at Ken Nocke's bowl. And I always mention that to your dad. It was in 1977. I went to my very first PBA event and walked in, and my favorite bowler at the time was Tommy Hudson. So kind of crazy how everything has come full circle. But I started young, went to a PBA event, loved the game. As I grew into middle school and high school, I played a bunch of different other sports, but I quickly learned that I was blind in my right eye. And I know this is kind of going around in a circle, but I was born with a birth defect, and I have no vision in my right eye. And as I started to play other team sports, the doctors had encouraged my parents to kind of guide me into more individual sports so that my peripheral vision wouldn't hurt a team atmosphere. So for example, like volleyball, I wouldn't ever really see the players coming from my right side. Softball, I love to pitch, but unfortunately very little depth perception with having no eyesight in my right eye. So I gravitated around bowling, wrapped my arms around it, and loved it more and more every day, and continued to compete and had a little bit of success here and there and just kept going with it.
At what age did you find this out? I mean, obviously you don't know, because if you're a kid, you think that's normal. But when they tested you, did they did the spoon over the eye gimmick, and all of a sudden you were in like first or second grade, maybe?
So funny enough, I don't know how many of you remember Little House on the Prairie.
Absolutely.
But true story. I watched an episode of that, and she was blind. One of the episodes, she became in the storyline.
Mary?
And I said to my mom, I said, wouldn't that just be just awful if you couldn't see, if you didn't have your eyesight? And at that time, I was in 5th grade is when my mom and dad told me that I actually didn't have any eyesight in my right eye. And like you just shared, I didn't know any different. So
they broke the news to you?
Yeah, in 5th grade.
Wow. All because of Mary Ingalls. Oh my goodness.
Crazy, right? I don't even know if Justin and Brandon know that.
Oh my God.
I didn't know that.
I certainly didn't know that either.
Yeah, so that's when I found out. So it's kind of funny when I would be bowling junior leagues or junior tournaments. Let's say I would throw a shot, and fortunately they all went down and I struck. So people are sitting in the settee area and they'd have your hand out to give you 5, and I would walk right by them. And then of course I wouldn't see them, so I wouldn't give them 5, and they'd, start chit-chatting.
What a poor sport she is.
Yeah, not a nice person. And my mom's like, turn around. They had their hand out. I'm like, I didn't even see them. I had no idea. So, yeah.
Les, you said it's your right eye, right?
Yeah, 0 vision in my right eye.
Wow. Me being a lefty, Parker, Brandon, and Rob, I'm sure you guys can relate. I'm pretty sure that I'm left eye dominant, as most left-handers would be. I mean, I remember looking at a baseball pitch, always seeing it with the back eye.
Yeah.
Is your targeting, or like do you target differently being a right-hander and you're limited to the vision on the left side of the skull? I mean, is that a weird
eliminating half the lanes almost? That's the other thing.
I actually, to be honest, I don't know, because I don't know any different. I've only seen the lane the way that I have for my whole life. So, oftentimes, like when I'm playing further right, I'm actually comfortable playing all parts of the lane, but I don't know any different. So I just have to take, I try to become a little bit more aware, turning my head one way, left or right, a little bit more than others might, because I have no vision. So they say, well, what do you see when you put your hand over your right eye? I don't see anything. It's dark. It's black.
Yeah, just as if it was shut. That's
So if I put my hand over my left eye like this, I can see absolutely nothing.
I learn something every day.
So now I have to ask, have any of the other family played jokes on you and tried to hide from you or anything like that?
No.
Okay. Good kids.
I'm going to be honest.
The other senses are louder.
What's that, Brandon?
I completely forgot you was blind.
Oh, see?
Well, again, here on Straight Up 5, you learn something new almost every show. And here we got, I remember seeing Roger Gardner, and he's at least turning to the right to see the lane, but I don't know that.
Yeah.
You never came to that, or else you'd have some good cervical range of motion, obviously.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to feed here because now I have a question for both of the Bohn boys. First, actually, it's kind of a split question, but we can get similar answers here. Justin, you used to be a traditionalist, one-handed, all 3 fingers in the ball. You made the conversion to 2-handed. Brandon, for as long as I've known you, I've never seen you bowl 2-handed. Correct me if I'm wrong there. So, I don't know, but I'm curious, Justin, what was your what aided in your decision to go to 2-handed? Because I think you throw it fantastic either way. And Brandon, what deterred you from it?
So I'll start. I feel like what kind of made me kind of generate the idea was the first year that we bowled over in Malaysia. And I had felt like that my rev rate was in the bottom 20%, and I was missing a piece to the puzzle because my rev rate wasn't as high as everybody else over there. And I started dabbling with it, like Friday night after league, messing around with it, just having a good time. And then a couple of years went by. It was about 2 years that had gone by. And I was just continuing to mess around with it, but I actually developed it into something that I could start to use. Not anything serious, but like on a house shot, when you got the whole lane pretty much, I could be competitive. So I said, okay, let me try to actually practice this a little bit more. And this was at the time this was right around the time that weight holes were starting to go away. So I had set up my arsenal to where I could bowl 1-handed and 2-handed with the same arsenal. And then when the weight hole rule went into play, it was like, okay, you're either going to have 2 separate arsenals or you're going to make a decision to go in one way or the other. And I made the attempt to go one way for about a month, and I said, you know what, I'm going to commit to it and stick to it. And ever since, that's been it. But I do remember having a conversation with Dad. He said, as long as you get to the line with balance and control, it doesn't matter to me how you throw it. And I made the switch in the beginning of my senior year of high school, and I will never look back.
It's funny, and Brandon, just to feed off Justin. As you guys know, I'm a thumbless left-hander, one-handed, but I dabbled with it all the way going back to JBT days, like 13, 14, 15 years old. And my biggest reasoning for it was, like Pops, I always like your dad, I prefer to throw the ball harder. I feel like I have more control over the ball when I'm throwing it more firmly. And even though my rev rate was significantly high for having my thumb in the ball, I would always throw the ball through the break point. So whenever I'd get to a condition that was, say, 43, 44 feet, something like shark, I would get panic stricken and my elbow would just fly from being so uncomfortable trying to slow it down. And I realized that not only could I be accurate with no thumb, but now I could control lane patterns by length a heck of a lot easier when my thumb was out of the ball. So that was what kind of made me say, you know what, as much as I don't want to be thumbless, as hard as it is for me to throw it 20 miles an hour now, I still always have a chance, whether it's outside of 5 or inside of the fifth arrow sometimes if need be. But Brandon, what about you?
Ironically, I just told someone this last night. Obviously, we're here in Finland, and one of my favorite bowlers growing up was Oscar Palermo. I looked up to him for the first few years of my life. Well, when I could watch bowling and remember it. But it was just around the time when he threw the bowling ball over the barstool chair in Detroit at the 2009 World Series. And the next year for Christmas, I had one of his jerseys. He was my favorite bowler growing up. And then I started bowling with the real bowling ball. Obviously, we used plastic balls and water bottles when we were a kid, just in the motorhome, trying to give us something to do. But I started as a two-handed backup bowler, and I pushed it from my chest, and I looked up to Oscar. And ironically, like I said, we were literally just talking about this last night, and Dad said, you're going to either learn to throw it the right way on the left side, or you're going to go one-handed. And then I went one-handed. And now when I go to two-handed, I have zero chance. So I'll just stick with the one-handed, and hopefully it just keeps going like it is right now. So,
well, it seems like you both obviously made the correct decisions because you're both on top of your game, and you're both perfecting your craft. So I think you both are definitely making the right choice. Go ahead, Rob. I know you want to say something here.
First, I just want to say congratulations, Brandon, to you and Sydney for making the Junior Team USA. That's a huge accomplishment, and we're all proud of both of you. Too bad Sid couldn't be here, but good on you guys for winning the doubles championship with your dad. That's a really cool thing. Parker and I talked about that when we had lunch, and he said that was literally probably the best moment of his bowling career. So congrats to you guys.
Well, thank you. Yeah, on behalf of Sydney and not only myself, it was certainly a really cool week at Junior Gold, the U22 Masters, where we both got our spots, and then to walk on stage together and get our jackets with Mom, Dad, and Justin all in the background. Certainly pretty cool. And, to win with my old man, like I said in the video, I don't know how much longer he's got. And I told him a couple months ago when I called him up about the tournament, I said, Dad, I want to win with you before you retire. And I said, the amount of money that we're going to win, the trophy at the end, the belt that we got, that doesn't mean anything because, winning with my dad means more to me than anything in the world. So
that's a memory that very, very, very few people get to experience.
Absolutely.
Very, very, very few. So that's awesome. And well said.
Parker, just don't get any ladders and you'll last a long time. Just don't
Yeah, enough with the ladders.
Can't you hire John L or something like that to do this stuff from here on out or something? Like, let's just
I still got to take the lights off the house when I get back.
Oh boy.
Same for next year. It's fine.
It won't be this week.
Just leave them up for the year.
Parker, going back to what Brandon just said, because obviously your game is timeless. You literally throw the ball exactly the same now as you did in the late 80s, at least to me. Does Does anything ever hurt you, or do you just have such a beautiful, compact, simplified, beautiful game that like all the parts just seem to work? Obviously, we know you're a health guy. You stay away from the stuff that I like, things like that. So, but like, have you ever gone through any points in your career where like something was like seriously holding you back from the bowler that we see all the time? The one that never falls off balance, never ever misses a dime. Like
it's the most mechanically sound one-hander we've ever seen.
You should have seen what he ate at the barbecue place. I won't tell anybody out in public, but I'm just saying.
Rob, now stop it.
Yeah.
No,
the bill was $80 and Rob's was 70.
When I was 19, Johnny, I won a spot as an amateur into Windsor Locks, Connecticut. And growing up as a kid that when you're around all the greatest bowlers in the world, especially as an amateur, and I'll look at me being 19 years old, looking around, it was a surreal moment. Well, I hurt the left side or the inside part of my wrist in the second game of the tournament. I did not want to withdraw. I'm too proud to withdraw, so I continued to go onward. Well, when I got done that week bowling, after 18 games, which really is not a lot when we think of how many games we've put on since then, I could not physically pick up a 6-pound ball from the rack at Howell Lanes. I could do anything else I wanted, but for me to put a bowling ball in my hand, put a sharp knife literally in the side of my wrist here that, well, needless to say, I couldn't get on the lane. So after about 2 months of taking time off and seeing a chiropractor, seeing a real doctor, getting an x-ray, everything else, one doctor, believe it or not, wanted to actually operate on it. And well, I wasn't going to have my wrist cut open at 19 when I could do everything else. And believe it or not, it did heal to whatever extent you want to call it. But Johnny, to this very day, and it's been that way my whole entire career, if I try to go overboard and hook a ball as much as you or especially Brandon or Justin try to do, I can take my wrist and put it on a shelf and come back the next day and hope that I'm going to be able to put it in a ball. So
that's scar tissue. You have scar tissue that's laden that spot basically and restricted it, almost like, wow, that's amazing. So you've been doing this since 19. And you were, your son mentioned rev rate before, which wasn't anything I don't know anybody talked about back in the 80s. I mean, whether it was measurable or not, it was almost more like the power of the ball, what they call it. But you were one of the guys that had almost a heavier ball at the time, given for what technology was doing. But they didn't have rev rates back then, I assume, right? Not your show rev rates or the store. Speaking of rev rates, Howell Lanes, check it out. Put the phone number up, do whatever. but they weren't. Was revving the ball a measurable tool even back then?
No, but I think we all wanted to hook it more.
So hooking it was the intention, and that's
there's more like certain players were associated with power. Mark Roth,
Mark Roth, of course, Holman, and
guys like Wayne Webb and Marshall and Pete, Del Ballard. I mean, those you measure like you kind of viewed it a little bit differently, I would say, right, Parker, as opposed to actually measuring the rev rate and
Correct. Steve Cook could hook a bowling ball. John Gant could hook a bowling ball on the left side. Obviously, my good friend Jason Couch could hook a bowling ball. Parker Bohn wasn't going to hook a bowling ball, but Parker Bohn figured it out with angles.
And that's almost like that injury kept you from overthrowing almost. It almost kept you in your own track at all times.
Correct. Absolutely. So
Walter and Parker just relied on shot making.
But Parker, when I go back to say the early in the mid 90s, you're still really, really curled, tucked pinky. When you made the show at the Foresters, when you were inside the fourth arrow, like you were still hitting it pretty good compared to what we see nowadays. Like I'm not saying don't sell yourself short as far as referee, but you seem comfortable throughout. Like I'm specifically talking about the mid to late 90s, the Player of the Year, like that whole like 99-01. Like you seem to still be getting on it, full knee bend, like unloading at the bottom. Is it? You kind of see where I'm going with like the question I'm asking is because to me it looks like you were.
It looks like you're still hitting it. That wasn't even your max, basically,
and seemingly so at 42 games a week. You made it through all these seasons.
Yeah, I wasn't afraid to go after it. I mean, but I knew that there was a limit to how far I was going to go, meaning if I wanted to be competitive. So, I'll say it this way. I'm not afraid to go in there to third or fourth arrow. Couple months ago, I was playing between third and fourth arrow at Howell in the regional. And a good friend of mine back at home, he was taking video of me. I said, "What are you doing?" He goes, "The boys at home are not going to believe this. Where you're I go, I'm not afraid to play it, but I'm going to be real. At the end of the day, I know where my strength is.
Yeah.
And I want to win. But at that moment in time, bowling what we were bowling on, you weren't going to win, or I didn't feel like I could win playing left of the second arrow. So therefore, you got to go in and you got to create something. So I'll go in there and I believe in myself. If I make a good shot, you know what? More than likely, I'm going to get rewarded.
What he's not telling you is he went to the bathroom 5 minutes after he got done because his nose was bleeding.
Really?
Well, that sells it. Now I fully understand.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Everyone's favorite mechanic, Tino, is in the chat, by the way.
Johnny, I'm just going to, let's put it this way. Who cashed this week here in Finland? Okay, so you can take your revs and go put them outside.
Aha, see? Shot making.
Les, obviously, Parker said one of the highlights of his storied career is winning with Brandon. What is your all-time favorite bowling memory for yourself? And then Justin, I'm going to ask you the same thing.
My own personal.
Well, actually, I would like your personal one of you bowling.
Sure.
If you want to give a couple, great.
Yeah.
Just like what your highlights.
So the highlight of my own bowling career would be winning the Collegiate National Championships in 1990.
Who did you bowl against? Was there a title match back then?
Yeah. So there was a title match. It was on national television, and we bowled West Texas State University.
Oh, wow.
So you'll remember some of these names. Robin Davis Marshall was the anchor for West Texas State. I was anchoring the Wichita State Shockers. Kathy Doran was on West Texas's team as well. And to win on your 21st birthday is amazing. And then at the banquet later that night, I was announced as the most valuable player of the tournament. So,
oh, wow. Congratulations.
Well, let's hear about the celebration even after then. Let's hear about the party.
Talk about 21.
Yeah.
You just turned 21. There must have been an after party. Oh, this was a 2-day event, probably.
So, the great thing under Gordon Vatican's leadership at Wichita State, it's certainly molded me into the person that I am today. Nothing is too big, just dream big, work hard, be patient, be disciplined, and anything can happen. So I was very fortunate. I was a young girl from a very small town in Michigan, 10,000 people in the city that I grew up in. I'll give you just a quick recap of how my journey even got me to Kansas from Michigan. Was I went to Michigan State and I tried out for the team. And at the time, Carl Nicolai was the coach of the Michigan State Spartans. And I threw the shots, maybe like 5 or 10 shots. He said, "Okay, you'll be anchoring our team next year." And I went, "Oh, wow. Okay, well, I have aspirations of going on tours. So I know in my heart I need to go somewhere that's going to push me to be a better player." And I always wanted to be a professional bowler. And it wasn't long after that back then, when we didn't have the internet and computers, I received a handwritten letter in the mail from Gordon Vatican inviting me down to Wichita State for a visit. So my dad and I drove down my senior year, spring break, drove 14 hours, went to the campus, visited. It was a dream to go to school there, and the rest is history. So
that's awesome.
I gave up my spot at Michigan State, took a leap of faith, went to Kansas, 14 hours away from home, and
hey, let that be the lesson too. I mean, nobody would turn down Michigan State either, but you're ready to go. You're ready to go. I'm not placating for a year. Well, I'm going to strike while the iron's hot, and let that be a lesson to everybody out there.
Yeah, so it was pretty cool. So Justin Romick bowled at Wichita State 2 of the years that I did. Chris Barnes, Billy Murphy, Brad Kozuski. I mean, some just incredible players. Donna and Debbie Detrani from New Jersey, Lisa Scarpati. It was amazing. I mean, these girls had just won the national championship. The boys, the men's team had just won. So was definitely the place to go. And even all these years later, it's still an incredible school, and it definitely was the highlight of my my bowling career.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Justin. What about you, bud?
So I'd say my biggest bowling memory, like my biggest win, was definitely winning junior gold a couple of years ago. It was only a handful of years after I had made that complete switch to two-handed. And with the year prior that I had had at school, I hadn't had the best year at Wichita State. I had called pretty much the program and the guys on the team about within a month of bowling that tournament that I wasn't going to be coming back. And there was a lot that had gone on that year prior that made me better for today. That, you know, one of those things that you go through that you don't know why you go through until you get to the other side of it. And it turned into putting all the pieces together to win the biggest tournament in youth bowling. And then it turned into 3 days later or 4 days later, Dad winning a major on the senior tour. And then 3 days after that, Brandon winning junior gold in the U18 division. So I had my 4 days of fame.
Shit happens in threes, like they say.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So I had 4 days of fame because Dad beat me to it, and then, you know, I was third in line after Brandon won again. But I enjoyed it.
On my parade.
It was the biggest win in the family for about 4 days, so that was cool.
You got that going for you.
Yeah. So
You have that, and you have the same gaming chair as Rob. It looks like. I don't know. Maybe that's your second best thing. Rob, is your gaming chair the same as Justin's?
Could be.
No. Mine's
a little different. Okay,
gear.
Same color.
Mine's for fat people. He doesn't have to worry about that.
Well, that's why we can't see yours, so we can see his.
Justin, I love your YouTube channel. As a video geek, I'm amazed by what you're able to put together, and that
the production is great on that too, man.
That video that I showed in the beginning, it's a work of art, like literally, and you have a shit ton of views on it too. So, congrats with all your success on that. I really enjoy your content.
Yeah, thank you. We, you know, we've always had a story to share. I feel like we have a very unique story in bowling, and to be a part of it and have the background in film to get to share it, I think is really cool that we get to share a part of bowling that not a lot of people get to see.
Sure.
And everyone in the family is pretty much on board with it. And the fact that we get to continue to take it another notch higher, another notch higher, another notch higher. If it can eventually grow the sport one day into something bigger and comparable to every other sport, that's going to be bonus. But we just are actually in the process of launching some merchandise.
Nice.
Some Bohn Legacy merchandise. So every day it feels like it's getting better and it's getting bigger. And, you know, it's really, really cool.
The timing is pretty much perfect too. Seriously, with it, because there isn't much in bowling right now. There's not. I mean, he's with podcasts and site and YouTube pages. There's not much. So the timing, and you have the rev rates going already. So it's you guys doing your trick shots and all that stuff, and the timing couldn't be better. So you got a fun challenge ahead of you, man. It's gonna be awesome to watch.
Thank you.
Now, I know there's competition between you and your dad, Justin, because you guys constantly go at it in your videos. But amongst the siblings, has there ever been any sibling rivalry between you and Brandon and Sydney?
Oh, well, I mean, Doug, like growing up, like I obviously wanted to beat him. I have one story to share that I think is probably one of the earliest bowling stories of either of us. And it was prior to me bowling my first 200 game, and I'll get to that in a second. So me and Brandon had just started bowling JBTs in 2011, and we were pretty much racing each other to go, okay, well, who's going to win the first one? Well, Brandon won the first one that we bowled, so I didn't beat him to that. But the very third one we bowled, we ended up bowling each other for the title.
Oh, wow.
And now, mind you, this is 2011. I am 8. Brandon is 7. Brandon is 7.
Yeah.
I have never bowled 200 in my life. I need enough pins in the 10th for 200. Match is way over. Brandon at 7 years old is, well, not happy because he got beat by his brother and is crying in the back.
Yeah.
Aw.
And I remember this so vividly. I am sliding in the left gutter. I have no rev rate at the time, right? No rev rate.
So I mean, it's okay.
So I catch one a lot. I get one off the left, catch it again, left gutter. I bowl 171.
Come on.
I go in the back. Mom and dad go, what the heck just happened? Like, and I had already won the tournament. It was over. What the heck just happened? You could have bowled 200. Oh, well, I felt bad for Brandon.
Yes. I thought the sympathy thing was coming in.
Yep. So at 8 years old, I just wanted to be a good brother. And then, I learned that I should have just, stayed on the gas, but that's all right.
Now, Sydney was late to the game, and talking with Parker, it's amazing how quickly she took to the sport and how good she was early on in her career. Like it's pretty remarkable how quickly she got that good.
Just by standing around a ball return. That's
right.
I don't have another way to describe it.
Maybe that's osmosis or something, or like maybe she's a physics major or something. Like it is kind of scientific the way the game is now. So maybe she just, I don't know, has some weird computer brain or something and is able to figure the angles out.
She's kind of ruthless. Parker told me she wants to win. Like she when she puts her mind to it, she's gonna do it, no matter what it takes. And practice, and she became that good. But I'm sure all of you hate to lose, but I think she might have that extra little edge to her. Would you agree with that, Leslie?
Yeah, she definitely has an edge. She the year she decided that she wanted to join in the game was we had gone to junior gold and her cousin Natalie was bowling. Both of the boys were bowling. I think Parker was bowling a PBA 50 tournament. And so Sydney was just tagging along to all the squads. And we wrapped up that week. And on the way home, she goes, I think I can do this. Really? She's like, yeah. And she goes, this was funny. She goes, you know how the boys don't listen to you when you give them advice? She goes, don't worry. She goes, I'll listen, Mom.
And then she had you convinced there, basically.
Yeah, right? So.
Well, I just want to say for the record, the last time my mom's told me anything on the lanes, it worked out pretty well. And it was to quit trying.
Yeah, that was last week. Oh, well, there, Chrissy said she probably learned it all from her aunt. So she's probably not wrong there either. Brandon's needed a little bit of advice from his mom a few times on the lanes. I can remember one time in Cleveland, I took him off the lanes and I said, that's enough. I'm going to go watch your brother now if you don't get your stuff together.
What I find so cool about it is how into it the entire family is, like to the fullest of the degree. Like, yeah. I love bowling, obviously. I always will. It's in my blood too. But like, my sister loves bowling, but she doesn't bowl. She's just not interested in bowling. I'm not interested in the same aspects of bowling that I used to be. But the entire family is not only into bowling, but into everything surrounding bowling. Yeah. Everything affiliated with it on every single level. I mean, I'm watching one of the greatest in history go fill up jugs of Diet Coke and water for birthday parties in rev rates. I'm watching these two promote shows and the content that's produced. Sydney, just like you said, at a left field, you know what? I want to be one of the best too. And now she is. You guys all bring like the perfect mixture of elements. And that's what's going to create an even bigger legacy than what's already been established. It's very admirable to watch from the outsider's perspective, as you guys should all fully know. And if you don't, you're schmucks. But
we're going for the ride.
Yeah. We're gonna make a Netflix documentary out of this one eventually. They're doing it. Netflix is doing it. We got the Bohn Legacy on Netflix. Somebody get to the HR. Who's the department, Rob? What do we have?
I got a couple contacts.
Get it going. Get it going.
I know we're kind of under a time crunch. You probably got about 15 minutes left. I've asked plenty of second and third generation bowlers this before, but I'll start with you, Justin, being the oldest, and then we'll get Brandon's point of view. Growing up with parents that have had so much success in the sport that you guys love, Johnny has talked about it quite frequently. Have you, Justin, felt like you had to follow in your dad's footsteps, or are those shoes too big to fill, or how did you approach getting into the sport knowing what your family's done?
I wouldn't say that the shoes were too big to fill and I felt like I had to follow. I mean, we tried plenty of other sports growing up, plenty of them. And the one that stuck was just bowling. And I would say because we grew up around it, I mean, we eat, slept, and breathed the professional bowlers tour growing up. Traveled by motorhome 30 plus weeks a year. I mean, it was all we knew. And I think that we had developed a passion for it at a very young age, the same way our parents did. I would say there may have been some mental hurdles here and there because of it, but also some things that we learned at a very young age that not a lot of kids learned until they were 18 or 19 years old, that we learned at 12 because we've had eyes on us.
Good call.
So I think in a good way, it's been a huge blessing, obviously, but there's some downsides to it, but not the good way outweighs the bad.
That's a great approach. Brandon, similar for you, or what's your take on when you got started?
Yeah, I feel like me and Justin see the different sides of the spectrum very much differently, but on this topic, I feel like we're pretty close. People ask us all the time if having 2 Hall of Fame parents is any added pressure. And I think for the both of us, I think it's easier. It's easier knowing that we have 2 people in the background that we can go to and ask for help, and they see, well, mom sees the lane a little similar than Justin. Dad sees the lane a little similar than I do, being on the left and the right side. But I don't think it's any added pressure at all. But like Justin said, we don't know any different. So we don't know what it would be like if they weren't around. And people will say that we're only good because of who our parents are. And the best response is, well, they don't throw the ball for us.
Yeah, you're throwing the ball yourself, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they just guide us to a path, and we take that path wherever it takes us. So,
but I mean, you still have to have the Johnny. You still have to have the talent. Like, you can have all the coaching you want from the best in the world, but if it's not in your genes, if you're not, I think you guys are all born with a gift. I think we all are in each of our own ways, and I'll put the wrestling, like David Flair was never Ric Flair. Like, there's some people that just can't do the same thing that their parents did or anybody else in their family. So it's a credit to the genes that y'all have, that you guys are all fantastically talented in many different facets. So, but you guys have such great level heads too. Like, it's really cool to see how humble you all are. And that has to come with, from your parents.
You can see it in, you can go ahead, Justin.
I was just saying, absolutely. You got it.
Oh, okay. So, I mean, you see it in other sports as well. You see it in basketball and golf right now with Tiger Woods and his son, and LeBron James and his son. And people may only say that they're only good because of who their dad is. And at the end of the day, their dad isn't playing basketball or golf for them. They put in the time and effort and took their guidance along the way. And me and Justin are just doing the exact same thing that we've been given.
It's kind of, I like what Justin said earlier when Rob asked about having the big shoes to fill and this and that. And I liked your response, Justin, because truth be told, I think only 3 people in the history of the planet have filled even close to the shoes that just dad has on his own. Forget about mom. So that has to bring some sort of, like, and then to add what Brandon said about having 2 of the best behind you at all times, helping you when you need it, but also understanding your commitment to the sport simultaneously and allowing you to work yourselves through it. It's only a matter of time before you guys achieve whatever it is that you achieve. I mean, I used to get that question all the time, and I'm like, how many titles? You think you're ever going to win as many titles as your dad? I'm like, I don't know if I'm ever going to make a TV show, but do you think you're ever going to win 14 titles or Triple Crown or pull 300 on TV or serve 3 presidencies for the PBA? I'm not sure you will either. I mean, it's actually, and the fact that you all are so humble about it, I think is the reason why. I said this to somebody the other day at Howell Lanes. I bowled 300 and 299 on a Monday and a Thursday last week, Parker, when you weren't here. And but I remember, like, leading up to it the last few weeks, Justin and Brandon always have figured out a way, and Sydney when she's there, they always figure out a way to come and watch me bowl for 2 frames and make me feel good about myself. They almost fanboy when they watch me, and I'm absolutely nothing. And like that humbleness alone, I think, is automatically tied into their production on the lanes. And the thing I was going here with, Rob, was when you said the genes, the genes that are in the Bohn family, it's forget about the physical talent. It's what's between the ears. And it's always been what's been between the ears. It's the mixture of the killer instinct and the calmness that makes them unstoppable. Because when you're that level-headed in the brain, you make minimal mistakes. And when you make minimal mistakes, the odds are you're going to be making less mistakes than your opponent.
Well, credit to Mom, because that's what that was the advice to Brandon before. Stop trying. Which means stop thinking. Take the action out. But mentally strong, do your job. And apparently it works. Especially, I'd be terrified too. So I bought a Sensi offer in 2009. The damn thing still works. I'm afraid to shut it off.
That leads me to ask. I'll start with you, Parker. Are you the more level-headed, calm, as opposed to your wife?
Rob, you're gonna get me in trouble here. No,
loaded question, Rob.
You see Justin shaking his head, yes.
Let's put it this way. I'm looking to figure out a way to keep things always at chill point when I'm bowling. But Leslie will tell you, my mind is going 1,000 miles a minute the second the ball is not in my hand, because I'm trying to figure out, what do I need to do next? Where can I get this? What are we going to do there? As long as the ball's in my hand, I'm focused on the pins.
That's your most calm point in life, actually, when you got a bowling ball in your hand.
Pretty much.
Yeah, when I'm on the approach.
Yep.
I guess that's why you're so good, because if you're not thinking about anything when the ball is in your hand, it's okay if your brain goes haywire when it's gone. It's when you're putting your hand in the ball saying, oh my God, my hand is sweating. I know if I miss 2 boards left, I'm 3-7-9. Or if I touch it too much at the bottom, it's going to big 4. Please don't do one of those. Like trip out the 8 pin on the 6-8, please, or something. Like there's
like the light switch goes off as soon
on
as
the approach, not when they let it go.
He grabs the ball, the light switch goes off, and everything is calm. Just like it's like the world has stopped.
Another thing, Oach, that I'll speak for on Parker's behalf. If you watch any show from Parker or any ball that he throws in league, Parker's pre-shot routine has not changed in 40 years.
Why would it? It's worked.
Picks up the ball, he rubs it with the towel 2 or 3 times, spins it in the left hand, puts the towel down, takes air, wiggles the fingers 2 or 3 times, comes set, and then the knees drop a smidge, and then he goes. And it's been like that every single shot I've seen him throw. And the only shot I've ever seen you fall off balance was to bowl 300 on TV. It's the only time I've ever seen you fall off a shot.
Johnny is the Rain Man of bowling. He remembers every little idiosyncrasy. It's ridiculous.
I think he's watched a shot or 2.
You think? Yeah.
Watched a couple.
Getting back to the what I asked Parker, Leslie, when you watch your kids, how intense are you, or how nervous are you for them?
Wow. Well, it was fun to just relive Justin's junior gold win. Lots of tears. I am a pretty emotional person. All of our entire family will tell you I'm a mush. So watching our kids perform at the highest level, I live every single shot with them, the good ones, the not so good ones. And there's nothing better than seeing them achieve their goals. And it's the coolest. I mean, for the fact that the boys in Sydney have all decided to embrace this game as much as that we love it. We're in a place now that we can give back to a game that's given us so much, and the places that we've traveled, watching these kids compete at such a high level. I think one of my, outside of them winning championships, which at such a young age, they both have accomplished, and Sydney herself have accomplished so much. When you see your kids giving their autographs and other kids standing in line for it, it blows my mind. We were in Malaysia, and I have pictures of both of the boys sitting at a table with a bunch of kids in line waiting to get their picture taken with them or signing autograph cards for them, and really, really special moments for sure.
That's unbelievable. And like to hear that, Justin and Brandon, like, can you, and I'm sure you guys have been used to your parents being famous, and everywhere you guys go, everyone knows who you are. But I mean, how I'll start with you, Justin. How cool is that when you have obviously, with junior gold and all that, and you have such a bright future. I'm sure you're going to go on. I'm sure both of you guys are going to go on tour. But I mean, has it been kind of surreal, like how well you've done so far, Justin?
Yeah, and I would say yes first, but I don't think it's not about the bowling success for me. Like, I look at Dad as not just one of the greatest competitors in our sport, but one of, if not the best ambassadors of the sport, just because of the way people speak about him.
Yes.
And it's not about how much success you have on the lanes. You can have a lot of success on the lanes, and if you're not a very nice human, people aren't going to want your autograph.
That's fair.
And if you are making an impact on people's lives in a positive way, and they want to meet you and take photos and talk to you and ask questions, that means more to me than winning the trophy. If I know at the end of the day that, I'm making an impact on somebody's life in a positive way. I think that's why we're all doing what we're doing for social media, because our story is impacting people's lives in positive ways. And I think that is what means more to me. And that's what's more surreal to me, is that we are continuing to grow that more and more and more, and turn it into all 5 of us now have an opportunity to make that impact, that same impact that started with Dad and now is trickling down to all 5 of us.
Brandon?
Well said, brother.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to go to some events and people come up to you, hey, when you're done, can I get a picture? Hey, can I get your autograph? Do you have a jersey that you don't wear anymore that I can get? I never thought growing up that I'd be any good, that anybody would want my jersey. And now I just told Dad, I said, I feel like I have to bring a jersey with me when I go places, because fortunately or unfortunately, that's how much I've been asked over the past few weeks. Hey, do you have a jersey that you don't want to wear anymore? And that's what's really cool to me. And growing up, we'd always see Dad sign a jersey, give it away, send it in the mail. He'd receive pictures of him to sign, to then send out so people could have his autograph. And I think just growing up and watching it and now living it as it's yourself, I think that's just pretty cool to me. People want my autograph. I guess I'm doing something right.
That's awesome. That's really cool. That's fantastic. And obviously you guys. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Leslie.
Real quick. Hey, Brandon.
Yeah.
Did you ever win a tournament with your mom?
I did. I won a tournament with my mom before I won a tournament with my dad.
Ding, 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 ding.
Well, do tell us, please.
You can say that one for the rest of your life.
I can. Why don't you tell them about it?
Yeah, I will. So Justin asked Dad to bowl this tournament. It was 2013, and I didn't have a partner. And I was looking for a partner, looking here, asking people. And a few days before the tournament, Mom didn't have a partner. And I don't know if she asked me or I asked her. I think she asked me.
No.
Nope.
Let me remind you. You go, Mom, I don't have anybody to bowl the doubles tournament with. Justin asked Dad. I asked this person. I asked this person. I asked them. They can't. Nobody can bowl with me. I don't know what I'm going to do. I go, Brandon, your mom's not bowling. Oh, do you want to bowl with me? Yeah, Brandon, I would.
And we ended up bowling.
And who did we bowl in the finals?
We almost bowled Dad and Justin, but Dad missed a 7-pin.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, damn.
I wasn't very happy on my partner.
We ended up winning the tournament, and a couple years later, we ended up bowling again, winning another tournament, and then we finished second the same week that the other 3 of us won. So
yeah,
me and Mom's track record has got to be pretty good. But
say that again, Bo.
That's a hell of a story. That's Parker. You missed a 7. Come on, man. A 7-pin.
Maybe he was being nice, just like Justin was for Brandon that one time.
No, Parker doesn't lay down for anybody.
Rob, I want to give one quick story because we're at the hour mark, and I know it's 4 a.m. in Finland. I want to share my fondest Bohn family memory. So this is like a little 2-parter. I'll keep it quick. When I was married, before I moved to Vegas, Leslie hosted a jewelry party at my ex-wife's father's restaurant. And she stayed with us in our little 1-bedroom apartment in Youngstown, Ohio during our college years. And then fast forward 5 years or so later, I believe the year was 2013, Parker, the World Championship in Vegas. And I had flown out to propose and marry my wife, who Leslie stayed with her and I at the time. And I remember being there. I was a fresh newbie in Vegas, just moved there. And I'm in the crowd behind Leslie, Brandon, Justin, and Sydney, all in the matching dad jerseys, as dad used that mean streak to win the world championship. And there's one clip where you see the three kids and Leslie in front of me, and I'm behind them bawling with my hands in the air, wearing a DV8 shirt. That was my first. Now that we fast forward now, 11 years, 12 years, it's like I'm at the age where I'm watching these kids grow up, and it's just finally reached that age, and it's like that's a memory that I remember every moment of that day with the entire family. So that was I just wanted to share that real quick.
That's a really cool thing.
That is pretty cool.
Appreciate that.
Very cool. Thank you.
It was clear as day on TV too. Like you can't miss it either. Like he's big time.
They got two bowling centers in South Point, but they still had to build lanes in like the cafeteria. But whatever. But that's only had one bowling alley. But that was awesome.
I will put you on the spot here, Johnny. You've known these kids for, forever, right? I mean, like, how proud of you of their success?
It's not. I didn't expect anything less with the physical talent. I'm impressed with the way that they all carry themselves. They're respectful to everybody. They are well spoken. They're soft spoken. None of them would ever hurt a fly, and they all want what's best for the sport that's produced their livelihood. They're the true definitions of class. That's all I can say about all three of them.
Oh.
Thank you.
Parker, I have to ask you, how awkward was that fist bump in that video that I showed in the beginning between you and Senior?
That's all right.
Don't do that, Rob. Come on. They're having a moment.
More of those again. Trust me, he's a near and dear friend. Somebody that taught me a long, long time ago some of the things that I really needed that I didn't know then were going to propel me and make me into the player that I turned out to be. And I hope he's around for another 100 years, to put it mildly. But I embrace every moment I can with Johnny Sr.
That's the one guy that might be around for another 100 years, actually.
Yeah. I mean,
he's the one that worries about it the most.
Indestructible.
He'll be here till he's 200.
I was just busting his balls. It just looked kind of awkward. Like, do I shake his
well,
hand? Do I fist bump? Do I give him a hug? Like,
hold on, Johnny.
It looked like he didn't prep Parker for the fist pump.
Seriously, it was like a moment. And
it was a moment.
Johnny, remember when Tiger hit that chip on 16 at the Masters and it rolled in? Remember?
Yes.
05. Well, and Stevie Williams and Tiger had the worst slap ever, and that freaking ran wild for years. Don't bust his balls on something like that. They're having a moment, man. That's terrible. You know what? Now I hope they don't find you.
It provided comic relief. We got past the mushy stuff. I'm not crying, so we're all good.
That's what I'm here for. So we are at the 9 o'clock hour. Anybody needs to dump out, they can. Anybody wants to stay, we're getting the show here. It's up to you guys.
He's got to go pack and organize his stuff.
Okay.
So
Brandon, good to see you.
Great to see you.
For having me, guys.
So much
I really appreciate it.
Being up at 3 a.m. to sit here with us.
Yes, thank you very much.
3 to 4 a.m. But I'd love to chat more, but we got an Uber to catch, and Dad doesn't know how to order an Uber, so I'll have to do that as well. And
if you put my dad together in a kitchen and ask them to make anything other than eggs and get an Uber, they'd be in serious trouble.
They'd be like Lord of the Flies.
I want that on the Bohn Legacy channel. We need to have Senior and PB together.
Nice.
Trying to figure out how to do
Play
something
a prank
technical.
on Dad and Parker and put them in a kitchen put them in a house, lock them in for 24 hours, and they have to cook their own food.
I'm telling you, they'd get a big fire going with a protein.
We will get through.
Yeah, Dad'll drink wine.
Make sure there's a bottle of wine.
Microwave one egg.
Yeah, get a bottle of $2 chuck and you'll be good to go.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah. All right, good. Well, Brandon, get out of here, brother. I'll see you when you're.
Thank you guys for having us.
Appreciate it, Brandon.
Appreciate it.
Justin, I know you got school. Are you good in time, or you got to go?
Yeah, I got to run and get some homework done. We're bowling this weekend in Chicago with the SCAD team, and we're leaving real early Friday morning, and I got a packed day tomorrow, so got to get some homework done and be be a student, because, you know, that's part of being a student athlete. So
that's right.
I got to get that done. So I appreciate you guys having me on. I really do appreciate it. And
Always a pleasure, dude.
as always, we'll see
We
you guys
appreciate
next
you as
time.
well. We'll definitely have you guys back on when you have more time, because there's a lot more we need to dig into. So thank you, Justin.
Yeah, absolutely.
See you, Justin.
All right, Leslie, you're good on time. I know Parker's got about 15 minutes. So you're good. You're good to chat.
Yep.
Okay, I figured. You know, when I had lunch with Parker, he he had nothing but glowing things to say about you, Leslie, and how great of a wife you were.
What the hell would he say?
You were.
What is wrong with you? Jesus Christ, Rob. You know, when I had lunch with Parker, he was really pissed about how you folded his laundry, and he said the detergent was different. Jesus Christ.
Just trying to win Parker some brownie points. That's all.
He's got enough. I'm sure they have some good brownie points. What kind of shit is that? Of course.
Rob, I'd give you $50 right now, Rob, but I don't have a 50. All I got is €50.
Obviously,
well, that's true. He's in Finland. That's right.
Yeah, that's fine.
What's the equivalency there? I don't even know.
This one's on the house, Parker.
All right, thanks.
No, I mean, it's look, all joking aside, Leslie, like to see the success. I mean, we all know that you were great and Parker's great, but I mean, were you surprised? I don't want to put you on the spot, but I mean, like I said, not everything always works out, but were you surprised at all to see how well your kids have done? Especially Sydney, honestly, to just pick it up out of nowhere.
Yeah, I think, you know, we've watched the boys work hard. You know, we can say it's in their genes. We can say they're Parker's kids, you know, no surprise. But like the boys both said, they put in the hard work. They put in the dedication. You know, I was fortunate along the way that I could support them. I mean, Dad traveled 30 plus weeks a year. I was home with the kids, and thankfully we were on the same page with allowing me the opportunity to be the best mom that I could be. You saw that a little bit in the clip. And seeing their successes, I mean, I think they put themselves in an opportunity to be successful. And we know in this crazy game that sometimes the pins are going to fall and sometimes they're not. And you just keep giving yourself an opportunity and a chance to be successful. And I think the law of averages and statistics, you know, hopefully they're going to garnish a few championships along the way. But it's amazing to see Sydney's success for the time that she's put into it. I know that her dad's worked with her incredibly hard. She definitely likes working with Uncle Doug. Each one of the kids, you know, Doug has been such a great inspiration to all of them. The other voice, you know, when we're at Junior Gold and we're standing back there between Natalie, Justin, Brandon, and Sydney, and here stands Doug and Parker and myself and my sister. You know, we're just there to support the kids and offer them the best advice we can to be as successful as they can be.
Are you more proud of them for how well they've done, or I mean, it's probably it's a loaded question, but or how humble they are and how grounded they are?
Well, I have to be honest. I don't know if I ever thought much about how humble they are, but being on this show tonight and listening to people like yourselves, I mean, Johnny, I've known you for a long time, and I can't say thank you enough for the kind words that you've said about the kids. And Rob, yourself, I mean, listening to how you speak of them and how you see them absolutely fills my heart. As a mom and as a parent and as a fan of this game, that's what I'm hopeful that they portray. And to hear you guys say it out loud means so much to me.
That means you did your job right. And Parker, you as well. I'm sure you feel the same way.
Well, exactly. You know, Rob, it's like the conversation that we had a couple of weeks ago there. Not just Leslie and myself, but anybody that's a parent, you try to show your kids the best, the difference between right and wrong, how to react, how to be part of what's going on. And then you have to hope when they walk out the door at that moment in time that they've listened to everything that you've said, and hopefully some of it sticks.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say this, and I'm going to knock on wood when I say this. You know, I give Leslie 98% of that credit. I typically take 2%, but I think that we've done a pretty good job. And fortunately, they've all adhered to everything that, well, most things that been talked about.
I mean, they're fantastic kids. And even, I mean, getting to listen to them tonight, like even as Leslie said, even just from my perspective, I didn't realize how humble and how grounded they were. Like I knew they were good kids, but I mean, they really are like your family or like the standard bearer for the sport, honestly. And it's a really cool thing to see everyone on the same page, doing something that they love, trying to grow the sport that they love, and to have the humility that they have, given all their success and the family lineage. Like it's really remarkable to see how they've turned out. And I'm sure Sydney is the same way.
Yeah, we had an amazing week last week. You know, Brandon spoke about it briefly with Team USA trials in Reno. It was actually the first week that I was able to attend with them. So being with the kids at an event such as that, all 5 of us together, it meant a lot to us. You know, we spent 7 days together, 8 days together, all 5 of us, which I can assure you does not happen very often.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Yeah.
And, you know, even though Sydney's not here, I would almost go on a limb when you say what would be her proudest moment on a lane. It did not turn into be victorious because she did not win junior gold last year. But the fact that she knew she overcome all of the challenges and stood tall and put her foot in the door for Junior Team USA, I would have to say in my heart, that's the biggest success story watching our daughter bowl. Yeah. Knowing what the 4 of us have gone through, meaning, you know, we've had that opportunity, and Leslie can back me up on this. I don't believe that we thought Sydney would ever get to that point. And the fact that she did it all on her own, yeah, she had Mom and Justin's help along the way. Don't get me wrong there. But she still, like you said, Rob, she threw the ball every single shot. And regardless of what happened at the end, she had enough pins to conquer getting on Junior Team USA. And I think that's really, really cool.
Absolutely. It's outstanding. Like all of us here literally can't be more proud of you guys and your kids. Like it's just, I call you guys the first family of bowling. And I mentioned, I think one of our early shows, we talked about your family success, and that was the title of the show, was the first family, because you know, not only are you all talented, but being ambassadors for the sport. You know, Parker, you and Senior, what you've done with Brunswick and what you've done for the PBA over the years is top notch, and both of you are class acts. And Leslie in her own work as well, helping and being an ambassador to the sport, and now your kids carrying on the transition through YouTube and social media, and they have so many more outlets that you guys didn't have back then that they can use and very well to help grow your name bigger and the sport.
Justin
bigger.
summed it up before when he said the story, and that's the real project right there, is the story.
It's a Disney movie, honestly.
I'm
not blowing smoke.
That's what it is. The timing is perfect. It's the story that's going to be the most fun thing to watch. This whole journey, this whole. I mean, we got years to watch these guys.
That's all yet to be written. So. Yeah, it's all yet to be written and finished. Like there's a lot of. Knock on wood. There's
a lot of chapters to fill.
Yeah. No,
well, if we're going to make a chapter here in about another 5 or 10 minutes. I'm going to see if my luggage boy can take care of all my stuff.
I can't see you traveling heavy, Parker.
Heavy?
Heavy.
Whoa.
Is he an overpacker?
Overpacker? Not even close.
He puts his undies in his pocket, and that's it, right?
If he's gone 7 days, he has 7 pairs of underwear. No more than 2 pairs of shoes.
That's
no more than 2 pairs of. No, this is the lightest traveler ever. And ask him how early he packs his suitcase.
Smart.
Probably 10 minutes if I'm going
before you have to leave.
Domestically. No more than 30 minutes if I'm doing internationally.
I do a week before, so I wish I had that mentality. Good for you. Well, you do it a lot more, so I guess it does get to be that way. You get your routine down. So,
yeah,
Parker, I'm the same way.
Those extra fees either, because you know, obviously you're not bringing 50 pounds of stuff.
No, I like to bring a lot more home with me though. In
trophy and
the trophies and money.
Right.
Euros.
I'm sure international shipping probably sucks too if you ever have to.
Parker, that's a great question. Have you ever won a trophy big enough and then had to get on a plane and not know what to do with it?
Yes.
Believe it or not,
Japan Cup.
I was going to say, they give you a bunch of stuff in Japan, right?
Oh yeah, that's right.
They give you 5 different trophies the years that I was fortunate to win the Japan Cup, and they put them all in these boxes, really, really nice, so that they don't get damaged. Well, when you go to the airport, you've got more luggage in trophies than you do in actual bowling balls and suitcase.
Fragile.
Yeah, it's actually pretty funny.
God,
holy shit!
There's
something that no one ever talked about. What did you do?
Yeah,
I wasn't like calling
like
Brian
you
and
say
saying I
to
got to
them,
return
"Are
my
you covering
package.
the bag fees for these trophies?"
No, they don't charge you baggage for the trophies, but you carry some on, you check the rest in, and well, then you cross your fingers and hope that they all get to the other end.
You say then you're wondering you're with the golf clubs looking for your trophies, or you're the dummy that's got 2 seats taken up with trophies too.
Right.
That'd be a good problem to have, though.
Yeah.
You already won.
I would pay to see that. I would pay to see a picture of Parker on a plane with his trophy sitting next to him. That would be fantastic.
That would be the picture of Brandon when he won junior gold and he took his trophy to dinner with us.
Did he really?
Exactly.
So you had to seat 5 that night instead of 4, I guess.
His very first year he won junior gold, we went to dinner to celebrate, and his trophy went with us, and he gave his trophy a name and sat right there at the dinner table with us.
Excellent.
I would have done the very same thing.
I think
Johnny, your dad didn't fly. Did he ever go overseas for any tournaments?
Earlier on in his career, yeah, he's obviously Japan being one of them.
He did, okay.
I don't remember the year that my dad stopped traveling overseas exactly. Parker, I don't know if you know, or Leslie.
I want to say it was somewhere around 71.
Yeah, it was definitely post Vietnam. So I would say it's been close to 45 years.
So all the trophies he won were stateside.
In the car.
He's got some pretty awesome antiques that he got in Japan. He tells me a lot of stories about, because he was very, very close with one of the lieutenant captains of the police force in I'm not sure what country it was, whether it was the Netherlands or whatever it was, but where the Autobahn is. And I don't remember exactly what year it was, but
Germany?
Apparently the police officers out there at that time drove 911 Porsches that were white with black racing stripes, because that would be the only car out there that could catch everybody with how fast they would go. He would tell me those kind of cute stories and things like that. Obviously, he hasn't done the world traveling that you two have done, but he's got some pretty cool antique stuff from over 40 years ago at the house to this day.
Did he get what was inside of the LT? The Japanese cork?
It was Japanese cherry pit powder, and the exterior of the ball was 78 hardness.
Did you learn about that Japanese shit overseas, or did that just?
I don't know.
I meant to ask him.
That was the secret ingredient. That was what would make it a little bit different than the other LTs. And I know that when the selection process was being made, it was around the time that plastic was becoming the new thing. But up until then, most rubber bowling balls were like around 89, 90 hardness. And Dad said, I want a black ball, a black rubber ball, the softest that's legally possible. And because I wanted to hook out of the building. And everybody had LT48s back then because they did hook out of the building.
I had one.
Did you have any success with that ball, Parker?
Until a few years ago.
I loved it. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Special.
I wasn't afraid to get it down the lane.
That was the Excalibur of the that time period, I guess.
Of its day, it probably was the Excalibur.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's
the
really
only
cool.
ball I know that was big, so I don't know. I thought so. I
Good job,
contributed.
It was good.
I thought they were talking about the sword, actually, which I was way off on that one.
I could take that out too. Don't worry about that.
We know.
You get to run, Parker?
Yeah, it's getting to be about that time.
Okay.
Yeah, it's 4:14 a.m., so it's gonna be about that time.
We jammed a good hour and 20 minutes in here. Had a lot of good stuff, new stories, fun stories. I think tonight went very, very well. I'm very, very honored to have been here tonight.
Well,
Yeah, so it's great to meet you too as well, Leslie.
Thank you.
It's so much fun to talk to you, and Parker. It's always a blast talking to you. We definitely cherish any time we get to talk to you as well. So hope you guys have a safe flight home, and we'll definitely.
I'll hold down the fort tomorrow night again, as I do.
Yeah.
During this show, I just found out I now have to sub tomorrow night at house.
We'll hold down the fort tomorrow night. So much like Johnny fanboys me bowling sometimes too. So just to see if I'm gonna break 100. If I have 50 in the 5th frame, he's like, "You go get him, pal." He's a good motivator.
Real quick, Parker, is it weird seeing Ocho in the mask at Hall Lanes?
What mask?
I'll say this. He just said Johnny's worried about him bringing 100. Ocho doesn't care if he breaks 100 or not.
That's
as
true.
long as he's got another drink there, he's good.
Right.
Right?
And I can find out which bowling ball's mine. I'm good.
Maybe you should take a lesson.
There you go.
Oh, we're promoting now. See? Rev
Come
rates.
on.
Put the
Head over
number
the rev
up. Rob,
rates.
put the number
Bones
up.
Elite Training. Come take a lesson. Work on your spare game.
True. Need
Do it,
to.
buddy.
You need to get a bowling ball that's from later than 2004 also. But that's besides the point.
You got me beat, Ouch. I still
I'll
have
get
my
an
swamp
LT
monster.
48 and I'll crank the shit out of it.
Perfect.
All right.
Did I get the name right? Did I say
Johnny,
that
please
right?
give me a new ball one of these days. I can't throw the swamp monster anymore.
Rob, you don't even bowl. You don't know where your neck is. What are you talking about?
Shut up. Parker and Leslie, thank you both for coming on tonight. It was a true pleasure to speak with both of you, as always.
Thank you for having us.
We certainly appreciate it, not just from our standpoint, but more importantly, I'm going to say from all three of our kids, even though Sydney wasn't on here, you'll have her on somewhere down the road. But for what you guys do for bowling, we just do our part. You guys keep doing your part. And together, we're going to all make the sport grow bigger and better than ever.
100%. That's the goal.
Absolutely.
Very well said. Very well said.
All right, guys.
Take care, guys. We appreciate
Appreciate it, folks.
All right, thank you.
Good night,
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
All right. I wish we had more time. We're definitely have to do that again. And really, it worked out pretty well, Johnny. I think for having that many people
this
on.
is the perfect show. We can't do 4-hour shows, guys. People get fucking bored.
They can watch it in parts. We could do part 1, part 2.
We do this.
I know.
And then we bring them back.
I'm just a fanboy.
Oh, we're not off the air yet? Oh,
no.
We're still alive.
I'm just a fanboy. I can't get enough of this shit. Like that, to me, this show it's almost cathartic for me with all the other bullshit I got to deal with in life.
Invoices and all that shit.
All the invoices and not getting to Popeyes for a while. But
no, I wanted to even crack a joke and be like, yeah, wait till they get in their first bar fight. And I'm like, these kids aren't getting into a bar fight. They're too good at kids. Like,
and it's a different generation now, too, man. Kids don't look forward to going out to like when I was on tour, dude, there was at least 20 or 30 guys that wanted to go out every night and
to see yourself, find the sites and do
drinks,
that. And that's
bars, clubs, strip clubs.
I mean, you're touring technically. It's called
kids
a tour,
nowadays,
so you're out and about.
They don't party like that anymore.
Not that yours was good or bad or anything, but like you still. You want to, if I'm out, I want to see what's going on or just, but then I got second, third, and fourth gear.
Like I can't see Brandon walking into a bar at 21 and enjoying it the way that I did to a point that I ruined my life because of it.
I do.
Like I can't see him doing that.
I do.
All right, Johnny, loaded question. Seriously, loaded question. This is going to sound so bad.
Is this for me?
Yes. It's all right. Damn it. There's no good way to put this. I don't want to say, was it worth it?
I specifically didn't drink in front of them because I wanted to be respectful.
I don't, Nico.
So I don't want to say, was it worth it? All right. Would you have changed? Okay. No, of course you would change things. But do you regret your experience? Maybe that's the question.
I'm an extreme introvert when I am sober, at least in the last 15 years or so. But I very, very much crave the limelight.
You are such a.
I used to do theater. I love to sing karaoke. I love having a show where people listen to me. Like I enjoy that. And when I'm drunk, throughout my years of drinking, I have met so many more people and had so many more experiences in my life than I would have ever had not drinking.
That's what I was gonna say. You are such a you're all out there. Like you will shake hands with everybody. But here's the thing. It's the most respectful thing ever. Like you'll just walk up to somebody and be like, "I like your shirt. I'm John. Well, you went to Penn State? No way." And then you'll
exactly.
And there are such good and pure intentions of this guy when he's just finally in his own head, right? Like it's a damnedest thing. And it's almost fun to watch because
honestly,
I can't do that.
What I like the most about myself when I'm drinking is I only see and search for the good in everybody, whether it's a physical attribute, the way they compose themselves, the way they speak, the way they smell. I'm always looking to engage in somebody else's life.
And compliment them. And that's like, you literally, I mean, I've seen it so many times where I'm like, oh, you're just going to go talk to this stranger. And it's like, hey, good for him.
Yeah,
and it's always
whereas I
pleasant.
like avoid them when I'm
Dude, it's always pleasant. It's always a handshake. It's always a great story. It's always a laugh. And it's the damnedest thing. And I'm like, my God, it's almost like there was always this thing in you remember Maxim magazine?
Of course.
Oh,
so Maxim magazine would tell guys about, hey, watch out for the drunk girl is the real girl. And it's like, but first of all, look, him drunk, drinking, whatever, he's the same guy. And it's there's the lines are very blurred with Johnny also because
thanks, Dougie. Dougie, if it's any consolation, Dougie, if it's any consolation, I haven't been on Facebook since October 15th. Rob is the only reason.
Rob's the one that runs the Facebook account, so
I'll accept a friend request for
really
Johnny.
Apologize for not accepting that, but once I go back to Facebook, especially after TikTok is gone, if it's gone, I'm gonna need something to watch. I promise I'll accept.
But it's no, it's no, it's I don't know that that's true though either though. Like I mean, well maybe your friend request, sure, but like it's the lines are so blurred because he's still such a genuine guy. Regardless, but he a little more guarded. That's pretty much it. It's just that finally he gets comfortable, and it's a slope. It's not like he has to walk. I don't want to. I hate saying the word drunk because like you just feel better. That's all. You feel better.
No, I don't have crippling anxiety. I don't have panic attacks. There was a period where when I was like really, really hardcore in we talk about this all the time, drinking and weightlifting do not go hand in hand, especially for me, because aside from not being able to recover, I lose my appetite. So what I like to do in the gym, I can't do when I drink alcohol. So what'll happen with me is, but it's the craziest thing. And I know we talk about real life shit on here. I guess we're still on the air. So, I go through phases where I achieve a dopamine rush by going to the gym for 90 minutes. I enjoy eating the meal right after, and I enjoy sleeping right after that. And I'll do that for 4 months. But then there comes a period where I'm like, shit, my body's always aching. I'm always full. I'm always on the toilet. I'm always not in the mood to do anything else and all this other shit. And next thing you know, I'm like, well, fuck it. I want to go have one night of drinking. Oh, shit. I drank today, and all of a sudden I'm not shaking on the approach like we were just talking with Parker. All of a sudden I can just literally walk to the foul line with my eyes closed and hit the pocket.
No social phobia, no nothing, no anxiety, no hang up.
I'm in the bar, and, I run into somebody who I may have had a grudge with 10 years ago, and now I'm more apt to talk to them and say, let's let bygones be bygones. Like I said earlier, I'm very, very interested in what other people have to say when I'm drunk. I'm very interested in creating a relationship with somebody who I otherwise would never even consider doing as such.
It's the most opposite thing of most people's society's alcohol consumption, literally, because look, nobody smokes a bowl and then starts a fight, but there are a lot of people that get all tanked up and then they start trouble. They say, and they'll blame the alcohol. Oh, I can't drink tequila because that just turns me into. No, you're just an asshole, and the booze just made you more of an asshole.
Right.
But it's like here's another story. It's got to be a story because it turns a nice guy into a nicer guy, and a pleasure to watch, and almost like marvel at. Like, man, this guy just talked to 10 different people, had 10 different engaging conversations, laughed, shook hands, hugged with, had a shot with, and then made his way back. And it's like, hey, I'm just doing a lap.
You know what?
Wild.
You know what it is? And I don't know if I heard this in a movie or for some reason, this always stuck with me. People in general love to talk about themselves. They absolutely love to talk about it. It's very,
so when you ask about them, they're going to be like, "Oh man, this is great."
It's very, very, very rare to find somebody who's into what you're about to say.
It just doesn't happen. It's like, hey, excuse me, sir, can I have 5 minutes of your time to talk to you about this new package from Optimum? 9 out of 10 people are going to slam the door in your face. But if you knock on that person's door and you say, excuse me, sir, I'm just passing through. I work for Optimum. You're not even like in my client base, but like, what kind of flowers are these? These are fucking beautiful. And you want to talk about the flowers that are lining their front steps? They'll stay out there with you for a half hour. So I guess what happens with me when I'm drunk is because I'm aware of that, and because I always had to be a certain way with just like the Bone Boys, with Dad being in the limelight when I was a kid. I guess what I've learned over time is most of my friends have come from just letting random strangers speak what they want to talk about, or me picking
listening.
And just listening. People love when you listen to them, and people always want to talk about themselves. Yeah. I know that may sound shitty or like weird to me. Like, no, not everybody.
No. You're right, dude.
No. We are. Everybody is. If I went up to somebody like, I don't know, who's never even been inside of a bowling alley, and I said, I have 148 sanctioned 300 games.
I'm a pretty big deal.
Left-handed, and I also average over 230 in league. She's going to look at me and say, yeah, that's nice. And she's going to fucking never want to see me again. Or go report me to the guy at the front door and say, this fucking creep won't leave me alone.
Yeah.
But, if you walk up to her and you say, excuse me, miss, not to be a fucking creep here, but where on earth did you get those shoes? What kind of shoes are they?
They're bowling shoes.
Or what is that fragrance you're wearing? Or
size 9 for the front desk.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I know this guy doesn't. They're at least going to answer you. You'll at least get some kind of.
Right. You don't start it off. But no, but I don't. You keep saying when I'm drunk. I feel like it's when you've had some to take your edge off, because you have a very vast window. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm really upset with my hair right now. It looks like shit.
It does look like shit. No, you're not lying. Especially with the background, like the backdrop is making it look so exact. So it's really bad. But if it was cut, it would look really good.
There you go. I like that's a lot better.
All right, now it looks better than mine. God damn it.
No, but yeah,
I love compliment. No, but because
here's the thing:
you don't just walk around and go, "Oh, hey, guess what? I'm shitty." You have a couple.
This is what also happens.
You get in your element, get in your environment too. Like, this is where you're comfortable. So,
but here's the thing, though. My dear friend Nick, who we all know, even like Nick recognizes the way that I drink compared to other people. Like, at what point in this podcast tonight do you think that I got drunk?
When you turn the camera off, but I don't think you did.
No, I turned the camera off to have a cigarette out the door.
All right, I don't think you did.
Smoke in front of the bones. All right, so like,
or you did it 2 hours prior.
This is a pint of tequila. That's how much is left. That's since minute 10 of the show.
Oh shit!
All right, so like, to me, if I drink this entire pint, I may as well have not drank it at all, because it's going to do absolutely nothing to me. But I definitely have the comfort level in my head where, like, if Martha were to say to me, John, I need you to run the Stop and Shop and get paper towels, I would skip there.
You could do it, no problem.
Yeah.
Oh,
if I had to go to the gym right now and do 5 different exercises for chest, I would skip to the gym right now. And probably not even need any water because I'm so jacked up from the tequila, at least in that respect. But I could also sit with somebody and engage for the next 3 hours and have another one of these pints and still talk the exact same way.
And that's my point. That's exactly my point. It's your window is so vast, but it could be at the beginning, at the middle, or at the end, and it's all the same. It's like, 2 shots in and you're comfortable. So that's what I'm sticking up for you in a way by like taking offense to saying like you're drunk when you aren't. And that's what I mean. It was basically like you're comfortable is what you are.
I'll put it to you this way. After being in Vegas for 12 years and drinking the way that I did 4 to 5 days a week, which again, I'm not proud of. I've tried to quit. I've gone back and forth my entire life. But I've never, ever, ever been cut off once in a Las Vegas casino or a Las Vegas bar.
For being sloppy and being illiterate.
Never once. I have been cut off in 5 different places the year I've been home since moving back to New Jersey.
No shit.
And I have been cut off, Rob, like less than this bottle.
So what, based on consumption or based on action?
Based on like timing of my orders of my shot.
Oh, okay.
Like, okay,
So
I'll take a double shot of tequila at 9:34. Now it's 9:46. I need another double because now I need to get the shit going.
And
Usually
once you're on your sixth one, they're gonna go, "Hey, wait a second."
Right. And
got you.
typical me, when I bowl at Majestic every single week this year, again, not proud of it. It is definitely one of my drinking nights. I will drink approximately 4 to 5 doubles before I walk into bowling on Tuesday nights. Typically.
I'm lucky if I get a freaking sandwich in my gut.
So, I mean,
hey, how'd you bowl
now,
last
is
night?
that knowing you're going to get cut off and you want to make sure you have the right?
No, that's me doing it to be ready from shot 1 because we only have 6 minutes of practice and it's a 5-man team.
I gotcha. Okay.
So my 40-year-old.
Oh, and that's like a 3-hour night.
Time we start.
Yeah.
And then when I find I'll get 2 or 3 shots in practice, but I'm typically loose enough to execute a shot in frame 1 with just 3 shots of practice if I have the booze in me.
How long does it take to bowl in a 5-man league? It's about 2.5, 3 hours ish or something. Or
well, that's the thing that's so amazing to me about Majestic. Usually, you would assume like when I bowl Monday night, the 4-man at Howell, the league itself, we actually start practice at 6:30, and we're usually done at 9:30. What's crazy about Majestic is we start practice at 7:15, but it's only 6 minutes, and we're done no later than 10. Maybe 10:15. But it's like we get done just as fast as we
same
do.
time. Holy shit!
It's very, very, very close. I may be off a little bit here because but
because of the double shots of tequila.
Like the fastest moving 5-man league I've ever been a part of. And
damn, ready bowling, man.
So much, yeah, it's crazy.
How'd you bowl last night?
269, 249, 218, and my team won a bunch of points. And of course, in the good old strike jackpot game, strike jackpot frames for the first game are frames 2, 3, 7, and the first one of the 10th. I'm averaging like 238 at that house. I haven't made it through but one time through game 1 of the strike jackpot. Yesterday, I started with a 10-pin, threw all of them to the 7th frame. I got up in the 7th frame, stone 9-pin, out of the strike jackpot.
Oh, your best shot of the night.
Again, on the last night. And what sucks is like the person who had the most strikes last night took the pot from the first half, which was like $4,000, but that's okay. I also wound up cashing in 4th in the singles section of Howell lanes that Eric Nielsen runs. So I got a surprise $600 on Monday. So
that's awesome, dude. You're bowling fantastic this year. Like,
I'm having a good year, man.
How have you been able to get like just fucking in the zone?
Double shots of tequila.
Well, obviously.
Sorry, I'm kidding.
No, it's really my answer.
That's fine. I mean, whatever works.
I weight lift, and when I go bowling, I like to be buzzed or drunk before I start, and it calms down my brain. I know at some point it's poison and it's killing me. I also know that since I only drink tequila, that it kills a lot of bad bacteria in your system. There's no carbs in it. There's no beer belly from it or anything like that. My body's basically immune to it at this point. But for me, it just, like I said, and like Ocho said, it calms me down. I commit to shots more. I stay down on shots more. I don't think as much. I have a confidence that I don't have when I'm sober.
That's fair. I mean, that's. I mean, and thank you for being honest. I mean,
best lesson ever, I guess.
Yeah, really. I mean, everybody go drink some tequila before you bowl. You'll improve.
Oh, no, he's not saying it's everybody. He's saying what works for him.
No. I can read between the lines. Everyone can improve their average by 20 pins if they drink.
I mean, it's the same way. Like if you're perfectly square between the ears, if everything is going right in the ears, but you have
not that far
horrible. I don't know. Something's wrong with your hip, or something's wrong with your knee, or something's wrong with your elbow. Well, what do? Do you put on Bengay? Do you pop some pills? Do you take an 800 IBU? Do you take whatever you take? Do you take Vicodin for mental instability? Do you take this for this? Like there are different
medicinal properties for each spot
just to get through a day.
What do you have to do for the brain?
Yeah, and my substance, Dave, love you, bro. That's one of my favorite people and certainly drinking buddies of all time. No, I so like instead of popping 3 or 4 Advil every single time I would go bowl and having the NSAIDs rip apart my stomach lining, I said, well, I'll go with the tequila and just, destroy my liver. I'll just let that corrode or get that cirrhosis and have a pretty good immune system. I know I'm being stupid now, but that's really between. I have less of an agenda. I feel like I have less to prove. I'm old enough now. I'm never going to be one of the greatest bowlers in the world. I'm never going to do what my dad has done, but I'm good enough to make a little bit of noise when I walk into a bowling alley. So when I'm a little bit more confident. I'm a little bit more committed to my game plan. I never ever get upset. I never throw a fit. I never curse. I don't hit ball returns. I'm just happy.
That's weird. When you were smoking, how was it? Kind of the same effect, or was it different?
You talking about marijuana?
Yeah.
So the majority of my marijuana smoking was when I fully quit drinking for about 2 years. I'll recreationally take a hit here and there, but I never, ever, ever smoke when I bowl now.
Okay.
Ever.
But when you did, was it the same? I'm sorry. When you did, was it like the same effect, or
no? Very, very, very sluggish. I was very, very sluggish to the line.
Okay.
I was more kind of in a fog and a daze, and certainly not in the mood to talk to anybody.
You'd have been rather watching TV or something like that, or just watching Family Guy or some shit. Or
I remember those nights at South Point where all I would do is smoke weed. I'd get there 10 minutes before league, walk straight to the bowling alley, completely miss the casino. I'd bring a protein bar and a protein shake because at that time we would get done around 9:30, and I would go to the gym on the way home from bowling. So I would sit under the tables in the back with my hands on my knees, and I would bowl. I would sit down. I would take a bite. I would bowl, and then I would walk out with my bowling balls, and I would go to the gym, and then I would go to sleep. It was so sluggish.
It sounds like it was a chore at that point, though.
It was an absolute chore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how different was your score when you, as opposed to
probably
drinking?
the same. Probably fucking 228.
I'm always around. I'm one of those people that's always around the same. I'm always around 230, 235 in league. You'll very, very rarely see me average under 200 at a bowling tournament. You'll very rarely see me average 260 at a tournament. But like Dougie's saying here, I don't. Drunk bowling is, like he said, for me, it's easy. It simplifies everything. I don't worry about my feet being too fast, or I missed my mark, or I thumbed it down, or I chicken winged it, or no. I get up there and I try and fucking knock down the 10 white things in one shot most of the time and 2 shots the rest of the time. I don't think about anything else.
Gotcha.
When I'm sober, I think about who's watching me, who's critiquing me. Am I going to slip? Am I going to clear the fingers? Am I going to throw it out the window? And my hands are sweating. My armpits are sweating. I have to shit. I have to piss. Like that's what happens when I'm sober.
Keegan, g'day, mate. Check the replay for the bones that were here, but it's good to see you.
What a show, boys.
It really was.
That was a goodie. Sorry
Get
about
us
that.
on the what's our X Rob? Go ahead. Do the promos.
Yeah, nobody uses X anymore. And now that Elon bought it, they're all gone.
All right. Well, do the promos about the audio podcast and leaving a 5-star review and all that shit. All that good stuff you're supposed to do, Rob.
First off, subscribe to the Bohn Legacy on YouTube and follow the Bones on all their social medias. We can't thank them enough for coming on the show tonight. It was a complete honor to speak with all of them. And we'll definitely have to get Sydney on here soon. Also, check out Rev Rates at Howell Lanes in Howell, New Jersey. They have a great team there. Parker gives lessons there. Everyone's always there to help. So definitely check out Rev Rates. You can follow Johnny on Twitter or X at JPJR07. Ocho is the doctor is at the what is it now? Is it the DR Ocho? The Ocho? I got it here somewhere. What's
the THE? Oh my God.
You're never even on there. I don't know why I'm bothered.
I'm on there. I got chicks in my DMs at 3 a.m.
It's the Dr Ocho. You can follow me at Rad Rob Gaming. I am active on X. I might be the only one that's active on there. We're also on Instagram.
For his neck. That's what he's doing.
We're on TikTok for a couple of weeks. We're on Instagram. Straight Up 5 Podcast. You can also follow us on X at Straight Up 5 Podcast.
Hashtag Where's Rob's Neck? That's going to be the new one.
Yeah. No, that's fair. We are on the audio platforms as well. If you don't want to watch us here on YouTube or Johnny's Facebook page. Ocho, where can they find our podcast?
I don't know. I don't know anymore. Don't know.
You haven't searched for any lately, or you haven't found any?
I haven't done. You know what? I got.
Wait. Can I tell you something real quick that happened just now? That's really funny.
Sure.
So I told you I have to sub tomorrow,
yeah.
And the guy I told him yes. So he accidentally sent me a text message that he was supposed to send to his teammate since I'm the one subbing for him.
Just say like, "Oh fuck
you,
you're out."
Dude, just think positive for tomorrow. I swear he's good for 750. Just bowl. So I wrote back.
Shit.
I wrote back, no problem. And then he wrote back, "Sorry, John, that wasn't for you." So I wrote back, "Thanks. No fucking pressure. You told your teammate who apparently doesn't want me there to sub that I will average 250 tomorrow."
That's
so
awesome. Wow.
let's see how this one goes. It'll be the first sub 600.
Dude, this is gonna be so good.
Let's go.
I mean,
I'm gonna shoot
go to liquor
810
store now and go get tequila for tomorrow.
Real plates. LFG, Johnny. We know.
What?
No.
So wait, somebody said, "Oh man, this guy's gonna sub for us."
Johnny Petraglia Jr. That hack. What the hell is he?
Yeah, seriously. For? So he sucks, and the guy's like, "Oh no, man, he's all right. He's good."
Keegan wants to know, JP, have you had any major wrist injuries? And if you did, how would you deal with it, or how did you deal with it?
Keegan, not from bowling, but from weightlifting. Yes. Early on, when I started weightlifting, I made a very, very poor mistake when I was under a bench press. Rather than putting my thumbs either behind or in front of the bar, I laid them this way, and I compressed whatever tendon the
stenosing tenosynovitis. That's called
stenosing
extensor pollicis longus.
Yeah. So for about 6 months, it would like kind of pop in and out of place, and it was extremely painful. And I kind of just let it heal.
Always check you motherfuckers.
I don't take very much medication for it.
Just be a t-shirt.
So, but I just
my daughter said no bad words.
Fact check me.
Let it heal, Keegan.
I can't say mothers.
All right, can we go now?
I just want to know, Ocho, is that was stenosing
tenosynovitis? Stenosing tenosynovitis,
Okay.
And check for the extensor pollicis longus tendon.
Yeah, that's it. That's what I was going to say. I just want to hear you say it first.
Oh, fact check.
I do.
All right.
I do.
I had to put that in the soundboard tonight. All right, guys. I'm on vacation starting this Saturday. I'm going to the Bahamas. My daughter's happy. She's clapping. So we won't be here next week, but we'll be back the week after. So, boys, enjoy your next week off. And we'll see you we'll reconvene when I get back.
You got it.
Ocho, what? Oh, are you fact checking yourself? Swelling and inflammation. Okay. I don't see stenosinal tendency volantitis. You need a camera. Are my glasses?
Come on, there we go.
Oh, got it. Okay.
It's very, very impressive, Mr. Hillard.
And he went to school like 30 years ago. Like, I can't believe he remembers all this stuff.
He's a fucking
I do.
Good night,
all right, guys.
Good night,
everybody, thanks for watching tonight. We appreciate your support. We appreciate the Bohn family for coming on, and we will see you in a couple weeks. We'll see you 2 weeks from tonight. So, Johnny, Ocho, good night, everybody. Take care, y'all. See you next time. Peace out. Can't see Johnny. Goodbye.
Thanks for stopping by, San Diego.
Keep it classy, San Diego.
Go fuck yourself, San Diego.
Hey, my daughter's right here.
Good night, Nicole.
Thanks for listening to this edition of Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. You can follow the show on Twitter at Straight Up 5 Pod. Follow Johnny Jr. at JPJR07. Follow Rad Rob at Rad Rob Gaming. And follow Dr. Ocho at the Dr. Ocho. Got a question for Johnny? Send your questions to straightUp5podcast@gmail.com. We'll see you next time for another edition of Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. Right here on the Rad Rob Radio Network.